Nerd?
Oh.
Where's my fucking glasses?
Nerd.
Nerd! Right out of my mouth.
They've got the brains.
Loneliness. Discuss.
Hey, welcome to episode 141. I am your co-host, Mike Lawrence.
I'm your co-host, Jake Young.
And this is Nerd of Mouth. And we are going to review Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Just so you know, spoiler heavy. That's how we do it here. So if you haven't seen it... Well, I can't
Magneto
I can't even say if you haven't seen it, go see it, because you don't know if we want you to yet. But I think it's safe to say, yeah, we do. So let's talk about this. What you guys, first off, just overall thoughts. What'd you guys think? Anthony, our guest here today, Anthony DeVito, funny comic.
How you guys doing? Yeah, I thought it was great. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Oh God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a tight movie. It was entertaining, and it kind of fixed all the residual problems from the first Captain America movie, which we can agree. Like, it was slow in the middle. Like a lot of the plot didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And this one is it was good. Amazing action. And it just it was just dark enough.
Only if you haven't seen Raid 2, is it amazing? We'll talk about that in a bit. I really liked it. I thought it was definitely one of the better Marvel movies. A lot of people saying better than Avengers. I don't think so. But I would put it right behind Iron Man. I'd say it's the third best Marvel movie, and the reason I put Iron Man in front of that, a part of that is the wow factor. How the fuck did they pull this off, and just that performance of Tony Stark in that first one was better than any performance in this. But I thought this was really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know.
There's not much else you can say about it.
Yeah.
Well, we have an episode, so well, I do have nitpicks and problems and concerns. So I'll talk about those, and you'll tell me I'm wrong. So here's a few issues that I had. I thought overall most of the performances were great. I thought Falcon was awesome. Everything they did with them was great. I love it. You know, when people say, oh, they changed things for the movie. Look, I love it. When the movies can take a character that's always been decent or good or even great and make them the definitive version of that character, fucking more power to them, you know? Joker didn't need a vat of chemicals to blow us away. I thought this was the best version of the Falcon I've ever seen. This is a guy who, in the comics, has a very garish costume.
Oh, it's nightmarishly garish.
An actual Falcon.
An actual Falcon that he has a psychic link with.
Yeah.
That they barely explain.
I think he's a motivational speaker or
like
teacher.
He talks to the bird. The bird and him have conversations.
He has minor mind powers with the bird, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Red Wing, yeah.
Like Dr. Doolittle?
Yes, it is a one.
Great.
I thought you were about this Dr. Doolittle.
Like he can send the bird
hilarious.
like over a fence and see through its eyes. It is goofy as balls.
Yeah.
I wish they threw that in.
Oh yeah. What's funny is that
They could have. He would have been like a service animal to help the vets at the VA.
So the only thing that they've really done to update his costume, well, his original costume had green, and then the second one was a little better, but the only thing they've really updated was they gave him a mustache. That's about it. He's always been a fun character. I like Falcon, but this was great. I love the realism of it. That he is a former soldier. He helps people deal with PTSD. Because in the comic, I believe he was a teacher and he helped inner city youth. So still having that, I love it, and I love it when heroes are heroes before they become heroes. That's always a big thing for me when you could do that. Guys who like The Thing is my favorite superhero of all time, and part of the reason why was everything he did before he became the Thing was already super heroic.
Right.
He was already incredible. I like
when
that.
I'm not feeding orphans, I'm doing test piloting for the U.S. Navy.
Well, because it's always, it's interesting. It's always with the villains, this tragic, horrible thing happens, and or they were always evil. You know, like when a guy named Crusher Creel gets the powers to absorb anything, you know it's not going to end well.
Right? Yeah,
But the fact that like that you're already a great person in that, it's almost like you're like, thank God that motherfucker got hit by cosmic rays. You know?
Right? Yeah, he deserves it. Yeah.
And even though he's ugly, he's still like what happened to the Thing would make anybody else a villain, being this and often has.
Sure,
you know, this rock monster.
I just can't believe that Baron Zemo turned out to be evil. I mean, who could have seen that coming?
2 in a row. Helmet and Heinrich. Who would have known someone named Helmet would be evil?
See, I had no idea that the Falcon was going to be in the movie. So I'm watching it. You know, I don't know the character all
You were
that
waiting
well.
for that D-Man cameo.
And I was
Black person Captain America talks to.
well, I don't know. I
That
just
is
saw it.
an
I was like,
What is
all right,
Hancock
great. Like, okay, they've got the Ciroc
doing in this movie?
Hancock.
What's he
Scarlett
doing here?
Johansson probably given more in this than any of the movies so far. I do like how they've built up the Black Widow. I just think she fucking sucks as an actress. I hate the pouty faces after the hurricanranas that she does, and it just doesn't. God, I wish Jessica Chastain. I wish someone else was playing this
With a thick, ridiculous Russian accent.
Well,
the
yeah,
way I
that'd be
imagine
nice.
it in the comics.
Almost impossible
But
to
now
understand.
you
It
know
is
what?
weird how she's always in the comics, and I just, all the time when you read her, you're just like, "Will Captain America, we shall."
See, you're laughing at that and saying how goofy it is, but I mean, and maybe I'm alone here, but one of the best moments in this movie was Arnim Zola as Max Headroom, just a floating head with a thick German accent, saying that you are doomed. Hydra has been in charge. Like that was
That's
that
an
not,
amazing scene. That is an
I think
amazing
it's
reveal.
one of the best, if not the best scene in the movie. So why not have the fucking? Her name is Natasha Romanoff. Why does she have to just sound like Scarlett Johansson?
I was actually agreeing with you that like it is a little like the character of Black Widow. She's Agent Scarlett Johansson more than like the comic books Black Widow.
Yeah,
Just
there's
that
even a
fucking-
line in there. It's like, I just traded in the KGB for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Like, the KGB? You aren't in the KGB.
And she never has that
You're
tortured
24.
face. And, you know, I think one of the problems with these movies sometimes is that they tell without showing. And to me, if I had to say there was a big problem in this movie, I would say that's it. With regards to how the Winter Soldier is handled, they tell you it's
Right.
Bucky, and they tell you that he's been kidnapped and brainwashed, but they don't really show you. There's not a lot of sympathy and care in this, other than that this is a thing that happened in the comic books, and we're adapting it, and now it's happening in the movie. I don't think it had enough emotional weight and pull, at least not as much as they thought it did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't think that aspect was built up enough to really carry, like that being the main thread of the movie. I didn't think that was built up enough. I thought it was more about Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. than the actual
by the way,
Winter
guys, Hydra takes over S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Always had.
Soldier. Oh, what?
We
Okay,
just-
yeah.
We spoiled the spoiler alert.
Maybe- yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Gary Shandling is evil.
Oh my God, that's so cool! Gary Shandling
Yeah.
playing Senator Dickbag from Iron Man 2 is just Gary Shandling it up, and then he gets super close, and it's just right up on his weird Jew face.
Hydra.
So cool! It's so cool.
How great would it have been if Jeffrey Tambor was right behind him, just going, "Hell no,
Hell no!
hell no." That would have been the best. No, that fucking evil Shandling, amazing. But yeah. So to me, see, that's the thing. I think that oftentimes the directors or the writers of these movies, they look at a Marvel encyclopedia and they look at the characters that they're thinking about using. And, movies are a visual medium. Comic books are too. But they look at the look first. I mean, literally when he's strong, fast, has a metal arm. I think that, so they look at this character and they're like, okay, And there's so much more has a metal arm in this movie than Cap's friend. You know, a part of that, here's a part of what I blame on that, a lack of Bucky in the first one. You know, not enough emotional pull in the first one. And I think you lose some of this story when you cast an adult in the Bucky role. I think, you know, in the comics, he's a kid. He's like, you know, maybe 14 or 15, maybe 16 or 17.
His dad was a soldier, and then he died during a training exercise. So the other soldiers just raised him.
Yeah,
because in the 40s, we didn't care about kids.
Yeah, now they did. You know, now I know Brubaker did retcon it to make him this badass killer and all that, and even that I liked. You know, like in the war, it's like that idea of like, look, anyone who's in this fucking war better know how to fight, and that I don't mind. But I think there's so much more to the story of guilt that you bring this, you know, young person over to war and he gets hurt, and then you even have the redemption of Falcon, like, well, but this guy, but having, you know, and it's a Hollywood thing, you know, hiring a good looking actor and an adult actor and all that. I think you lose some of that punch.
I'm actually gonna disagree with you here. I will yield that, like, they could have made it more impactful. The fact that he was Bucky, the Winter Soldier character, wasn't actually as core to the story as all the trailers and the promotional materials made it out to be. He's just kind of the I believe was the dragon, if we're using trope. He's the Darth Vader to the Emperor.
But his name is in the movie, and he should be. You know what I mean?
But I actually liked adult Bucky, that he was like the kind of protective friend to young Steve Rogers, and that was a good way to like give them a real connection. And they tried their damnedest. That one flashback at when they go back to Shrimp Steve Rogers, and they have that moment. I feel like that was earned. I feel like they did their best within the time frame to make it count. I thought the fight choreography and like the idea of the Winter Soldier in all of his scenes, he's an imposing presence. You know, like in this, especially because in this movie, Cap is taking out goons left and right.
Yeah. Right.
This is like this is the first time, honest to God, I feel like I've seen a superhero in full motion. Like,
I mean, when he takes down that one that plane, or you know. He doesn't take down the helicarrier. Well, he does, but like when he throws the
shield.
When he jumps off a motorcycle onto a jet, jams its engines with his frisbee, and then lands back on the motorcycle.
I mean, that was one of the best Marvel movie moments yet.
Yeah.
Even that opening, the opening when they take over the ship, and it's he jumps out the plane, he's jumping around, he's taking out goons, he's using the shield as a credible weapon. Listen. He didn't leap as much as I'd like, but then again, I'd have preferred if he fought Stiltman. You can't get everything.
Yeah, but if you're going to put Batroc, like,
hear me out. He's a man who wears stilts.
And I know I'm saying I like cooler, hipper Falcon, but like for some of this, especially with like a villain, you could have a little like Zoot Allures, like have a little goofiness
to Falcon or what?
Yeah, I mean, because it works so well with Zola. You know, I kind of like that. I mean. You know, even like when Robert Redford revealed that he was just a cartoon villain, that was kind of fun. But what I think was missing was a prolonged scene of Bucky either getting tortured or brainwashed or forgetting. Like,
there was
they show like a small montage of it, right?
Very small. I mean, I think that
I bet there's a cut where there is more of that.
I think the problem was they were juggling so many characters that I think he got a little lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, well, that's why I think the other story was so much of a larger story, or had to be explained, that they couldn't focus that amount of time on the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and then he's just gone, and you know, it's like, and I kind of, you know, there's a part of me that does like that because of how finite these movies often are when the other dude dies. So I like that he's gone, but then it's like, so are they going to use him again? Is he just out there? I mean, who knows? But
what I liked about it is that they had there were 5 villains in this. There was Batroc, there was Robert Redford's character, the Winter Soldier,
Gary Shandling,
you know, the Nazi scientist guy, and Crossbones.
Who's not Crossbones? He's not. He's just Rumlow. He doesn't have the fucking mask.
No, but
he never calls himself Crossbones.
But he's a charred husk at the end. They definitely show him being pulled out of the rubble, like all fluckled up.
Yeah.
So clearly he's going to put on the mask.
Why not just fucking do that now? When are you going to make another Captain America movie?
In 2016, at the same day as Batman vs Superman.
All right, fair enough. Are they?
Oh yeah, no, they're so far neither of them have blinked. But both were like vaguely arranged, or Batman vs Superman was definitely going to be on this date. Captain America 3 was vaguely going to be on that date.
But you don't think they're going to forget him? I mean,
what about Turbo 2?
This time the snail is getting nailed. I don't know.
I mean, we've got gripes with Iron Man 2 and whatever, but God, fucking Rockwell in that was amazing, and they haven't done anything with him since.
Oh man, he was so good.
As Hammer.
Oh God, he's fantastic. He's one of the best.
Explaining the guns. I could have watched that.
Yeah, that's another
gun after
great
gun
moment.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
he makes that movie.
Yeah, so good in it.
Yeah. They had so many villains, and usually, like, an overabundance of villains is what kills a superhero movie. But you didn't even notice that there were so many.
It was the way they were handled, where the one was literally just your tutorial fight at the beginning, and then the other, they were all in service of each other,
henchmen and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, Rumble. I mean, he was a henchman, and that's fine. I didn't feel like I saw Crossbones on the screen.
No,
I just thought I saw a guy who was a security dude, but no characteristics of Crossbones.
I could say, as somebody who doesn't really know, the story of the comics, that I just thought he was a guy. Like I had to be told at the end that that's
nothing.
I thought he was just a guy until they showed that he was alive and fuckled.
Yeah.
Then I was
that's
like,
when I was kinda like,
okay.
Yeah.
I bet he'll show up in Age of Ultron.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And if he does, it's a squash match. I mean, he's not gonna. I think
they could do a Death of Cat movie at this rate.
Yeah.
We could talk about the the end credit sequence, and I think I know this shit pretty well. I did not realize that was Baron von Strucker.
No,
he wasn't bald. He didn't have the Satan's claw. And people are like, "Oh, that's Baron von Strucker." Okay, it is. It's once again like when you. I get it, that you don't want to do the too campiness, but it's like I knew it was Falcon because he had wings. That's but Baron von Strucker has this red fucking glowing hand, and he didn't, and so I didn't know. And he's bald, and he didn't. I guess he had a monocle. I mean, but I thought they were glasses. I wasn't paying attention enough, but and they introduced the twins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be an Age of Ultron. I will say this: we did not really get a good look of Quicksilver's face, but what I saw of him certainly interests me more than the Quicksilver that's in X-Men: Days of Future Past, who is in a Hardee's commercial.
Oh my God! Okay, pause this podcast right now and go look at that just visual. I'm going to say claw fucking, a visual claw fucking of superhero media that is the Quicksilver Hardee's ad.
I kind of did, because that actor is Evan Peters. He's also in American Horror Story, and so I imagine working for both Ryan Murphy and Bryan Singer, the amount of ass poundings he has to endure. I mean, and God, I know it's homophobic, but like. There is no other word for that costume than Schumacher.
It's the costumes is Scott Pilgrim Reject.
Oh, it's oof. Yeah.
And the silver hair makes him look like just the world's like an albino raver from 1997. It's like really bad.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I get this whole like. Spandex, well, that's the thing. Like no spandex, yellow spandex, and that no one can wear spandex. But then you get the inverse of that. Now everyone's dressed in these fucking jackets for years. Isn't that its own version of camp?
Yes,
Isn't
I mean especially now.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about Winter Soldier, the movie, was that Cap's outfit kind of looked okay. It looked normal.
Yeah, I didn't think it was weird.
Even when he went back to the older costume, like
still
even
good.
it still looked fine. That's one of the stronger things I want to say about the movie is it is one of the first times that I was in a fully realized comic book universe with a few, no glowy red hand, he was a glowing TV that wasn't just like walking around. Which
Tummy TV.
Yeah, he wasn't cranging it up.
Yeah.
The fact that it was analog, like that it was all like real tapes was a
I
brilliant.
mean, that is the thing that even if they go 25% of the way, you're just happy because it's not zero. But my God, when they do go 100%, it's so fun.
He's throwing that shield around like in a comic book.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
At no point I'm like, that's not how metal discs work. He jumps out of a building and lands shield first, and like he's fine. He does that thing that I love in superhero where like he's parkouring basically into around corners he's never seen before. Like he's making jumps. Like I assume there'll be a desk here. It's like awesome.
I'm going to make one last comment, and it's that since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, and I haven't watched it recently, I thought it was an unwatchable piece of garbage. People say it's gotten better. Maybe it has. If you
now it's
tell me to watch
piece of
it, please
garbage.
tell me and give me reasons why. I would love to. But the problem, I think that show has exposed the Marvel tropes so much. A lot of them being anticlimactic fights. This fight was very short. This final fight between him and Winter Soldier. It's a thing that always happens.
What? It went on forever.
No, it didn't.
What?
It's like 2 or 3 minutes, man. Him and when they're fighting.
Oh, in the middle of the other explosions?
Yeah, but I want a fucking proper boss battle.
But they had to fight prior to that, though, right?
They were fighting prior to that.
Yeah, but a final
it was in
fight,
a limited space.
And that's where the raid sinks in, where they give you these.
Oh, nothing's going to be the raid, Mike.
But why not at least a 6 to 7 minute fight?
Because of U.S. labor laws that prevent you from breaking stuntmen's legs.
Boring. It's like
this stupid country.
I loved it when he was punching him in the face and all that, and he wasn't fighting back. Like that was emotional and that was great, but it was
cool.
short. And then another thing, the quips. I'm starting to get sick and bored of the Marvel humor formula. Everyone is quippy, and it's starting. I mean,
almost as if they've all been written by one Jewish man.
And the thing is, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did it so poorly that now even when it's done really well, it just gets grating in some ways. Like
Joss Whedon isn't Jewish.
Yeah. But there's very much that defines.
Gotta get Billy Crystal.
Or Gary Shandling. But there's very much that define Marvel's sense of humor, and I think they need to switch it up a bit. I don't know, can I watch 5 more movies where Scarlett Johansson pretends to be a comic and fails miserably?
That's Iron Man 3 was too much. I thought it was a funny movie, but I didn't think it was like a.
But that wasn't
movie.
even Marvel comedy. That was like 80s action movie. comedy.
And I like the line when but Captain America was like, "Oh, my barber shop quartet members are dead," but at the same time, like Thor's quippy and fucking. I mean, Winter Soldier wasn't, and that was great. The villain was, but like. I wish there was someone on the Avengers that wasn't. Maybe like Ruffalo was quippy, like I'm always angry. Like they're all fucking like, come on. It's just starting to be a homogenous.
Yeah, not too much. There's got to be some elements to it because that was my problem with the Man of Steel. It was just nothing.
Humorless, completely humorless. There's got to be a balance,
horrible.
but why not have certain characters be quippy and then some just not? Like know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
I don't like that even behind Samuel L. Jackson's eye patch, I could always see him winking at me. It gets to be a bit much sometimes, and then that's the last thing. That's the last thing. So you kill off Coulson. This is the ninth Marvel movie. Okay, you kill off Coulson, and then he comes back in this shitty TV show, and then in this one you kill off Nick Fury, and he's back in 30 minutes. We are 9 movies in. The most major character that has died is Frigga. What the Frigga? Come on. Like, someone's got to fucking, there's got to be stakes, and dead should be dead. Like,
just like comic books.
Fury.
When people die and it's permanent forever. Like Bucky and Jason Todd and Aunt May.
And Uncle Ben.
When death matters.
Uncle Ben, Jason Todd, and Bucky all came back the same year in 2006.
Life model decoys, my friend. Life model.
They didn't even do that. Oh, it's a think that's dumb. I was going LMD. And I knew Fury wouldn't be dead. He's got at least like 3 more pictures in his deal. But
There was some like fun little Easter eggs, like the did you see Fury's tombstone?
yeah.
It quoted Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It was like, Ezekiel 24:17, like, I am the
there's
Fury.
great shit like that. I just...
The list of Captain America's list.
the things he has to catch.
Moon
up.
landing, the Beatles,
But this
Sean
is-
Connery, Nirvana.
But this
What
is
if
its
one
own...
of them was tolerance?
But Jake, this is its own cinematic universe, and even in comics, Uncle Ben did die. Why couldn't Coulson, like someone, like there should, like you're just training the viewers to never give a shit.
Right. Well, then also
There's no stakes.
Right.
Then the next death, or it'll happen that one death will be real, and it'll be a big oh shit moment. Joss Whedon will probably do it in the Avengers too, and I mean, honestly, I feel like there's been a lot of nitpicking, but like this was a solid, fantastic movie experience. It was one of the first superhero movies that it did 100% what I was hoping they'd do with Superman, which is Captain America is this morally pure character, and he's back and like how do you update him without compromising that moral integrity?
Yeah.
You make him
Have
look
him
at the
talk to a
current.
woman who's clearly in old lady makeup.
Hey, I just like, oh, they're going to bring in the old lady makeup, and I was looking for flaws. I was ready to judge. It wasn't Carla Gugino bad.
You knew what I was thinking. Ew.
How dare you oldify a pretty lady?
Overall, I would say this was a great movie. There just are some concerns, and I'm starting to get a little worried about the formula. I thought this was one of the better
They
examples.
knocked it out of the park, and now you're scared.
I mean, it's starting to feel like I've seen some of this before, like this Marvel style. That's all.
That's the Marvel style is a Marvel style.
Yeah, but like
The Disney style is a Disney style.
I want a little variety, and I know that. I mean, Guardians is going to be jokey and should be jokey and all that, and that's fine. But like, I don't want them all to be fucking jokey.
Then go to Vertigo comics. I don't know.
I'm not watching Constantine.
Watch
again.
actual movies.
terrible.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though, or do you just completely disagree?
I mean, it's one thing to see the crack showing, but like, I feel like you're just pointing out like just the minorest like rough spots in what is a gleaming gem of a movie, and it is just. Now I'm excited that the Marvel Universe is solidified. Like they built it. I want Phase 3, Phase 4, Phase 5. I want to take my grandkids to see. Let's say Wonder Man 2. Like, who cares? It's just cool. I
know. I mean, in Spider-Man 2, they referenced Doctor Strange. When they did it here, I knew he was coming.
Yeah,
that's exciting. No, I mean, I know I'm being bitchy and nitpicky. There were just moments where I was like, this was great. It could have been better.
That's fair.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. When Spider-Man 2 comes out, when Days of Future Past comes out, I will come running to you. I will come crying, and I will say, can we please go see Winter Soldier? I'm sorry I ever disobeyed you.
Oh, God. Anthony, any thoughts were like favorite moments, just things that really stuck with you from the movie?
Yeah, the action sequences I thought were so great. The beginning on the ship, obviously, man flies off a motorcycle and he throws a shield into a plane, and yeah, that's borderline amazing. The elevator, that was unbelievable.
Oh, that was really good.
God.
See, that's when the movie goes into a full sprint. With the elevator fight. Before that, it's good and you're into it, but then the elevator fight happens.
I just thought
like,
Scarlet stumped
in
it
that
up,
sentence, what did he say when he was in the elevator? When he's like, "If we're gonna do this or
anybody
whatever,"
wanna
It's like
get
before
out.
we start, any of you boys want to
Huge,
get out.
man.
It's like,
Now what are you gonna do when they
Also,
remake
they had
Double
taser
Dragon?
knives.
You know? That was the best thing. It was every fighting game, every beat 'em up, Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Just a dude punching dudes on an elevator.
That was amazing. In the Batroc the Leaper fight, they were like standing like toe to toe with each other on basically a 2D plane. It was like out of a fighting game.
Yeah.
And then a minute later, it was
awesome.
over. So
Batroc's always good for a minute fight.
only if he's spouting catchphrases and having a sense of humor about himself. All right, so Anthony.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got anything to plug?
Oh, well, yeah, I got my podcast, the Rad Dude Cast. Listen to that. Thank you.
If you're a fan of this show, definitely listen to it. I think it's one of the
Jake loves it.
Not since Roundtable of Gentlemen has a bunch of fucking around sounded so hilarious.
That's really nice of you.
Follow me at Best Jake Young. I'll be at C2E2 with Dorkly.com, which is also where I blog.
Nice. And I am at the Mike Lawrence, and I will be at Moon Tower April 23rd through the 26th. After listening to this, you can come up to me and be like, "This is why you can't have nice things." But overall, yeah. I mean, if I was rating this, I would go 3 out of 4 stars. So I did really enjoy it. Maybe I'm just being too bitchy.
3.5 stars from Marcus Sparks here. And my band, The Cowmen, is playing on April 29th at a rock shop in Brooklyn. So come on out and check us out.
Did you go the full 4 on this?
I'd go full 4. I'd go
perfect movie.
Yeah. I'm as I feel like it's as good as you're gonna get from a mainstream superhero movie in terms of content, in terms of ideology, in terms of getting what I paid for, and the flaws you said were still there, but
so
I
this
left
was
satisfied.
the Gary best that you've ever seen.
Oh, Hail Hydra was worth 3 stars alone. Everything else was icing.
Anthony, what would you give it?
I would give it 4 stars. Is that what we're doing, or 5?
Yeah, out of 4.
Out of 4, I would give it...
what if I was like out of 5 and that was my heel turn on Jake?
Yeah. You've been Hydra the whole time.
Hail Hydra.
I would give it 3.5 stars.
All right.
Yeah, that was very good.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll have an episode next week, and our next movie review will be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. See, when I hate something, that deserves it.